Hi, everybody. Welcome to Virtual Write the Docs Prague 2021. My name is Mikey Ariel, and I'm broadcasting once again from the home office in Czech Republic in Prague. And I'm really happy to have all of you here with us today. We hope that you're still doing okay. You know, this is our second edition of the virtual conference. Last year, we started converting our conferences to virtual format to adjust, and we are so happy that so many of you are still with us. We know that there's a lot of attrition that's happening in the world. Things are kind of going up and down, but we are so grateful for our community and for the sense of community that we can still get from these conferences. And I really hope that you're going to feel this when you're here with us. We miss every single one of you. I can't wait for the day that we can all meet again in person. This is a picture from the last in-person conference we had in 2019, and I still have very fond memories from that and the previous years. And we hope that you can achieve the sense of connectedness that we talk about sometimes, and a sense of family that we all have. In case you're new here, you might not recognize this. I may have shared this before, but if you're curious to see what the organizer battle station looks like, this is my workstation, and this is how I spend most of the conference, with many tabs and all of my monitors, so that we can really be there for the community during the event. I wanted to also share a few pieces of feedback that we got from last year's events, and we've been getting similar feedback after all of our events, and it makes us so happy because this is what we are here for. We are here for the community, and we are here to try and maintain that sense of connectedness that we've been hearing that people are feeling. So I hope that you make the most out of it and that you really interact with other people. We've also had some really fun activities that the attendees and the community members have been doing, recreating the snacks from the crystal ballroom, taking selfies. We really encourage you to have fun, and make the most out of your time. So let's get into it. Some logistics. You are in a platform called Hopin. This has been our go-to platform since last year, and we're still very happy with it. And we hope that you will be happy with it as well. You are right now in the stage area. This is where the talks are happening, including mine. So after each talk, we will have a live Q&A. All the talks are pre-recorded, but we will have a live Q&A with our MC after every talk in the sessions area. So if you head over to the sessions after this talk, you will be able to see me live with the MC, as well as every other speakers. So other than that, we have the Unconference and the lightning talks are happening in the sessions. So we will have dedicated tables for Unconference sessions. This was also what the writing day was like yesterday. And we also have a lightning talk session dedicated for that in that area. The expo area is mainly for our help desk, which is going to be open for the whole conference. And that's where we will also have the job fair on Tuesday morning. Hallway sessions are also a thing that we decided to do after the first, I think, or second conference, that we realized that people would appreciate having a dedicated area where you can come in, you can share your audio and video, you can chit chat with people in a special room rather than just floating around the conference platform. And we've seen that people really make the most out of it. So if you want to go there, check it out. You can also have a private chat with people. You can use the conference chat. You can have a video chat one-on-one or with up to 5 people. If you want to ask a question about any of the talks that you see during the talk in the stage area or afterwards in the Q&A session, you should use the chat and ask your question and prefix it with a Q and a colon. And we have a great questions bot developed by Sasha that collects these questions, and then the MC is going to be able to ask these questions on your behalf. We also have live captions for all of the talks by a human, actually 2 humans, that we love very much in the UK, Cheryl and Julia. So they're working hard to transcribe everything that I'm saying. And the link is in the stage chat pinned message, and also the drop-down area below the video. So if you click the drop-down arrow, or the V, then you can see the link to the live captions and also some other helpful links. We have technical FAQs. We have information that might be useful for you. And if you still have questions after that, of course, like I said, we have the Welcome Wagon team in the help desk in the expo area, so you can go in and ask your questions if you run into any problems. We also use the WTD conferences channel in Slack as a backup in case something happens and we cannot use Hopin for whatever reason, or if you can't access a Hopin and you need to ask a question, we can help you from Slack. So what are we doing here? This is something that we kind of do a review of every year, especially for the new folks, but also sometimes you might need a refresher. We are not just a conference, we are a community. The conference is just a space for the community to meet. It's just one of the spaces for the community to meet. And what's the beautiful thing about this community is that we have so many people here from different walks of life, different roles, different locations from all around the world. And the common thing about us is that we all care about content, we care about communication. So we have been calling our community members documentarians, which is a more role agnostic term. And this is something that's been coined from the very beginning. And you can see here that there's a lot of different jobs that you can do and still care about this content and communication. So if you're here, you belong here. Just remember that. Like I said, this is the second edition of the virtual conference. And this was technically the 8th year that we're doing a European conference. And this is where my inside joke with Eric Holscher, who is the co-founder and conference chair for Portland, is he always likes to say that we have no idea what we're doing. And I like to be a little bit more positive than that. So last year we all got new jobs organizing a virtual conference, which is in some ways similar to organizing an in-person conference, but in a lot of ways it was very different. And, we're still getting used to our new jobs. We're always trying to improve. We keep iterating. We keep collecting feedback and trying to listen to the feedback that you have. And we just want to make the most out of what we have, So the world's been turned upside down and inside out, and it keeps going up and down. And we want to try and maintain some kind of consistency and build on the experience that we can. So your job in this conference, yes, you have a job. And we have 3 things that we always encourage people to do when they attend our events is to make friends and make those connections, learn something and share your knowledge and have fun. Ultimately, it's a different experience than what we have in the in-person conference. But the last thing we want is for people to feel like they're just watching a YouTube playlist for 8 hours. We really don't need that, because if we wanted to do that, we would just pre-record talks and broadcast them on YouTube as a playlist. But we've given you this platform, and we really want you to try and make the most out of it and enjoy it as much as possible. So how do we achieve the goals that I've described? How do we make friends and learn something and have fun? We try to act as welcoming as possible. Like I said before, if you are here, then you belong here. And remember that. And we are very open and supportive, and we are very positive. So we make a very high priority of making everybody feel welcome and valid for being here. We have a great thing that Eric came up with a few years ago, which we've been trying to implement. It's a little bit trickier in a virtual event, but the Pacman Rule originally says if you're standing in a group of people talking, leave space for a person to join in. If you're sitting at a table, there's an extra space, leave it for somebody to join in. And then we also tell people, if you see a group with space, then you can join. So we want to give you explicit permission to meet new people and join conversations. So in the virtual space, it might be a little bit different. But for example, if you're in the hallway track and you're talking with your audio and video open, and you see that there's a lot of people joining the room but are not sharing their audio and video, maybe give them a shout out. Welcome them and give them an opportunity to jump into the conversation. If you see people chatting, and the same thing, if you're joining, let's say the hallway track or an Unconference, and you have something that you want to talk about, or you want to just say hi, you're welcome to do that. And of course, if you feel comfortable, we want to encourage people to do this thing if they feel comfortable, but we also want to make sure you are maintaining your personal boundaries and your comfort level. So you only do the things that you're comfortable with. I'll talk about that in a bit later. We also have another rule. It's not really a rule. It's a nice little game that we play. For every year that you've attended the conference, whether it's in person or virtual, we encourage you to meet one new person every day. So if this is your first year, I'm sure you are actually already winning this. So if you are talking to one new person every day for each year that you've attended, so for me that would be 8 people. And that kind of goes without saying because I'll probably be interacting with quite a lot of you. But this is just a nice little game we play. There's no test. There's no grades in it. There's no winning or losing. We're only winning here. And like I said before, but I want to expand on it a little bit more because especially in a virtual event, joining conversations and meeting new people might feel a little bit harder, but we want to give you permission to do this. And this is why we are here. This is how we maintain and develop the sense of community. And I want to also, on the flip side of that, if you don't feel comfortable, if you just want to listen to the conversations that are happening, don't feel pressure to join a conversation. We want to be welcoming, but we don't want to be pushy, so please make sure that you are maintaining your mental health, your capacity for social interaction. It's all good. Well, I want to give a couple of things that are specific for the virtual event that we want to be careful of. We have people taking screenshots sometimes, taking selfies, like I showed you before. We want to ask that please ask permission before you take a screenshot of live discussions where other people are on camera, before you take screenshots of chat sessions, anytime you interact with another human and you want to take a screenshot to share on social media, please ask for their permission. So similar to how we used to do the lanyards, if your lanyard was a certain color, you didn't want your picture taken, and that's totally fine. And we want to make sure that people don't do anything or put in situations where they feel uncomfortable. The other thing is, and this is fairly new, we just discovered this when we were doing the tech rehearsal, Hopin apparently has implemented a shiny new little thing where you can use GIFs in the chat. However, what they didn't do is give you any kind of control over whether or not the GIF is running, which is not very good for accessibility. Yes, we wrote to them, we contacted their support, and they said, oh my God, yes, you're totally right, but it might take us time to fix it. So for now, if you want to share GIFs, please don't, because you don't know the people, if there's anybody with accessibility needs that might get into trouble by this. So what we're going to do is, unfortunately, if we see any GIFs posted in the chat, we are going to have to delete them. And I really appreciate your cooperation here. Maybe someday when Hopin allows for us to either disable the feature or maybe just disable autoplay. But right now, it literally just repeats ad nauseum. And it makes me uncomfortable. And I don't have this specific accessibility issue. It's just very distracting. So please be kind and don't post GIFs in the chat. I want to mention specifically the code of conduct, other than things specific like the screenshot policy and the GIFs policy, in general, what makes this community so amazing is how friendly people are and how comfortable a lot of people feel where they wouldn't feel comfortable maybe somewhere else. And part of that is that we all act in ways that are very inclusive, that are very friendly, and that are very compassionate. So the code of conduct is not a minimum. It's not a standard. It is a minimum. It's not the standard. We want to make sure that everybody feels welcome and that nobody feels uncomfortable. We have a lot of documentation on our website about what the code of conduct is. The main gist of it is just be excellent to each other. And we want to make sure that people feel comfortable talking to us if they run into a possible issue or a problem. So we have a standard process and we will keep everything confidential. We usually publish an anonymized report, transparency report, where we indicate if there are any cases. Fortunately, we really don't get that many code of conduct issues in our community, and I'm very grateful for that. But we also want to make sure that it's not just because people don't feel comfortable reporting it. So if you have any kind of issue or any problem, please talk to an organizer or someone at the help desk. You can also email conduct@writethedocs.org at any time. Sometimes something happens during the event and you don't realize that it's a problem until maybe a few days later, right? So we want to make sure that there is no expiration date on these reports. And if you're not sure whether it's a code of conduct issue, please let us know anyway. It's better to ask rather than try and guess. And then you might end up feeling awkward, and we don't want that. It's better to ask us. We've dealt with a lot of different issues in the past in various communities that we've been at. I just want to give a little overview of the staff. These are all the people that are sitting in their respective home offices and helping to make this conference happen. So these are your organizers. This is your team. And I'm very, very grateful. I'm going to thank all of you in a second. So I just want to give a quick overview of what's going to happen in the conference. You had writing day yesterday. I hope everybody who joined had a great time. We love writing day. It's a great chance for people to work on projects together. And if you haven't had a chance to join us for writing day, remember that for next year. The main stage, we have 2 days of a lot of different kinds of talks. Where unfortunately we always have to reject some talks. So that's really sad, but we're really grateful. We had quite a lot of good, great talks this year. And I'm very grateful for the speakers who put in the effort and invested their time in preparing these talks. We have live captioning and the moderated Q&A, like I mentioned. We also have lightning talks. Lightning talks are 5-minute short talks about anything in particular that you want to talk about, something that might be interesting, work-related, fun-related, whatever. You sign up during the conference, so the sign-up sheet is actually open. You can find the link to it at the reception, and the lightning talk submissions will be open until right before the last talk before lunch. So it's about 12:15 Central European time, but during the break between the last before the last talk before lunch. And then we're going to announce the talks right before lunch. So after the talk before lunch, we're going to announce the talks. We're going to contact the speakers, and the lightning talk sessions are going to be held after lunch in the sessions. We welcome new speakers. We love new speakers. If you've always wanted to give a talk, but wasn't really sure if you want to commit to 30 minutes or 45 minutes or whatever it is in other conferences, 5-minute talk is a great chance to get some practice in. Maybe you have a new topic that you want to talk about that you're not quite sure, so you can test it out. Slides are optional. Usually they work, but this is a live thing. The main talks are pre-recorded, but the lightning talks are live with all the fun and games that that go along with doing a live session. Speaking of live sessions, we have the Unconference. We've migrated from the tables, physical tables in a room, to virtual tables in the sessions. So we have numbered tables. We have an integrated schedule where you can sign up for a table. And you can also check the schedule to see what's happening at any time during the Unconference sessions. There's no need to sign up in the spreadsheet to attend. If you want to join a session just as a participant, you can just click the table, open it up, say hello, and join the session. We have cheat sheets linked from the info pane in the Unconference sessions. And we also have the schedule with helpful tips. If you don't feel like you're really interested in the topic, after all, you thought this was a great topic, but you're not really into it, feel free to leave. It's okay. You don't have to you don't have to stay just because you joined. This is the cool thing about Unconference sessions. And it might even be easier in the virtual space because you don't have to physically get up from a table and walk away from a group. This is called using the medium, okay? So don't wait for others to suggest your idea. If you want to run an Unconference session about anything, go ahead and do it. We have plenty of space, and if we run out of tables, we can always add more. And the hosts of the Unconference sessions are basically the moderators. We have the Code of Conduct team, the kind of back office organizing team. We're available in case you need any help. But the sessions are basically self-moderated. So either if you're hosting a session, you should moderate it or assign somebody else who can. The social event has always been a really fun part of Write the Docs, and we've been trying to make it as social as possible, considering the fact that it's virtual. The first year we used the sessions, we used the tables for it. And this year we've done an experiment in Portland that worked really well. We have a different platform for it called Spatial Chat. And this is more of a dynamic room. Like you actually see a room, you have little avatars that can walk around and talk to people. The Pacman Rule feels a lot more real in that space. So you will find a link to the social event in the reception. It's going to be tonight after the conference from about 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock Central European time. Tomorrow morning, the expo hall will have the job fair. The job fair will start running from about 10:45, parallel to the first talk. We will have sponsor booths that are ready to talk to you about your next documentarian-friendly job. You can chat with them in the booth chat, or you can ask for a one-on-one conversation if you want to talk about something more specific to your role. So we're really grateful for the sponsors who have joined us for this, and we hope that it's going to be useful. And if you can't find a job here in the job fair, or if you want to look at other jobs, we also have a job board. Some of you may have noticed we feature some jobs in our newsletter, but if you go to jobs.writethedocs.org, you will be able to find a lot more job postings. I want to give a shout out to the Welcome Wagon team. The Welcome Wagon has been an integral part of making the conference experience welcoming to newcomers. And we're really, really grateful for every single conference has a Welcome Wagon team. And we are so grateful for them because they are the ones who are introducing you to the conference. So thank you so much. They are going to be operating the help desk in the Expo tab, and they can answer your question. We also have a Welcome Wagon guide with FAQs and technical troubleshooting areas. They're all linked from the info pane below the video, and you can also find them on the conference website. We also have the Welcome Wagon orientation video, which is kind of like a little 5-minute quick overview of the platform. And the Welcome Wagon has been great at doing live orientation sessions. They did one yesterday, they did one this morning. So thank you so much for having that, and we hope that it was useful for everybody. I want to give a great thanks to all the speakers who invested time in recording their talks and submitting and preparing their talks. I want to give thanks to the staff, the organizing team who have been doing this year after year sometimes and have stuck around with us for the virtual events. Thank you so much to the sponsors and for you, the attendees. We thank each and every one of you. Every single time I see somebody joining the platform, it just makes me so happy to know that we are still connected somehow, no matter where we are in the world. This is just a quick overview of our sponsors. We really appreciate them supporting us at these times and every time. You know, we've had sponsors that have been with us for years, and I really, really hope that we can maintain these relationships and see them in person someday. And once again, I just love this slide so much because it's so nice to see all of our, the whole team in one slide. You know, I am so grateful for everybody who's been contributing and sharing with us your time and your energy, and it really makes all the difference. So the last thing I want to do is, we usually do this at every event. We give a quick overview of the state of the community, where we are at, what we have, what are our plans for the future, as much as we can make them right now. So just a quick overview. We have this year, we've had the Portland conference, and this is the Prague conference. Unfortunately, we had to take a break from Australia and India, mainly to allow the organizing team a little bit of breathing room. That region of the world was hit really hard, and we wanted to kind of try and mitigate some of that pandemic fatigue and to make things a little easier for them. So we're really grateful for your patience and for your understanding. However, I mean, it's not like nothing's going to happen. They've changed the format. We're going to have a super meetup. You know, it's going to be a short, like a half-day event with a few talks and some interactive things. So that one is managed via meetup.com. And it's just something a little bit more scaled down so that we can make sure that our organizing teams don't burn out. Other than that, we still have our meetups. Most of our meetups have gone virtual, and I'm really grateful that the local meetup organizers are still maintaining the local community and keeping that flame alive, keeping that flame burning, because we really, really hope that it's helpful. We've been helping them out with some infrastructure and whatever we need to support the meetups for them to keep going if they want. Our Slack is growing all the time. We have more than 13,000 members. Our mailing list subscribers are more than 8,000. And we hope that you're enjoying the newsletters that we're putting out. We have some community updates going. I want to give a quick shout out. The 2021 salary survey is coming. It's coming right after this conference. We've just put the finishing touches on it. This is going to be our third salary survey. And I think that especially in these turbulent times, it is so important to keep a finger on the pulse about what's happening. And we originally started the survey to help people understand, get some help on like salary ranges and benefits and what to ask for, because we couldn't really find documentarian specific or friendly salary database, So we're going to be announcing the survey and launching it in the October newsletter and on social media. We're going to keep it open until about mid-December, late December, and we're going to publish the results in early 2022, probably end of January, beginning of February, something like that. We're going to give people a chance to rest for the holidays and then come back and analyze everything. If you want to access the previous surveys, you can find them on our community website on writethedocs.org. And I want to give thanks to Kay Smoliak, who has been doing our survey since the beginning. She's been a fantastic help and really took charge of it. And we're really, really grateful. So thank you so much, Kay, for running this survey. All right. So looking at the near future, it's really hard to plan. We understand that. We're also trying to make sure that whatever we do is optimized for the health of the community. So we want to keep things going as much as possible, and we want to give a sense of continuance to the community, but we're also trying very, very hard to make sure that our organizing teams, that our volunteers, are being supported, that we're prioritizing the mental health, and that we're trying to mitigate, try to minimize the pandemic fatigue. What are we doing to support that? So first of all, investing in global projects that support the community. So things like the job board, the salary survey, all these things that we can do from our home offices, things that are helpful to the community, no matter where you are. We're also looking into the question of what we're going to do next year. Portland comes around pretty quickly. We finish Prague, Australia, and suddenly the year is over. So we're still discussing and trying to figure out what the best format would be to prioritize people's health and safety, and also make sure that we give you the best possible events under whatever circumstances will happen. So it could be virtual, in person, hybrid. We have a lot to think about. And we appreciate your feedback as well. We're always trying to listen to what you are saying to us, because we are here for you. The community is us, is all of us, so we want to make sure that our community stays happy, stays healthy, and stays connected. One of the ideas that we've been kicking around is to consider some kind of a supplementary membership support plan for people, similar to how people do Patreons or whatever. Everything in the community resources would still be free. All of our talks are always free. We always publish them to YouTube. Even now that we're broadcasting them inside a paid platform, you're going to get them for free in about a week. And all of our guides, organizer guides, like, we are super adamant to be transparent and accessible. However, since the events are not the same when they're virtual, and we want to make sure that we are more flexible, because usually our conferences are our main sources of income to be able to pay for the other events and the activities that we're doing. We're self-sustaining, we're self-sufficient. But we want to try and make other incentives for people. We could do some special swag for supporters, and some thanks, some shout outs. We're still thinking about that. If anybody has any ideas, or if you want to help out in building a plan like that, we would be very grateful for that. Because the more minds contribute and collaborate, the better. So if you have any ideas on how to make this work, if you want to help out, please send us an email, DM us on Slack, let us know. So how do we stay in touch? Other than during the conference, we are also going to be doing some tweets. So you can follow us on Twitter at Write the Docs. If you're tweeting about the conference, please use the hashtag Write the Docs. And of course, we have our Slack team. If you haven't joined yet, you can find details on the website. So that's it for me. I'm going to virtually head over to the Q&A session where you can ask me questions about the community or maybe the conference. If you have ideas for the future, go ahead and think about that. And again, thank you so much for joining us. And I really appreciate every single one of you for being here, and enjoy the conference.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us once. I hope everybody's okay where to be. I think we're covering many time zones, so good time of day. We have a few questions coming in for Mikey. One from Sarah. I have spoken to Sarah before, so I should really know how to pronounce your middle name, an umlaut over an I. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce, sorry.
Looks like I don't know where the umlaut comes from, but so it looks like
can Sarah tweet a slide of your slides? And I guess that's a good question for generally. Can you tweet slides?
Yes. So anything that happens on the stage is basically shareable. So we're going to be publishing all the talks on YouTube anyway. So we have permission to share. So anything, slides, videos that are happening on the stage is fine to share. The screenshot policy is only for live sessions like here, for example, or Unconference and private chats.
Cool. And in related question, are your slides available anywhere at the moment?
Well, the slides, we don't normally publish them, but the video will be available with the rest of the conference videos next week.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Good stuff. All right, we've had the question that we always get. Where do I get the t-shirt?
Yeah, well, we've posted the link to the current location of the shirts. It's on Redbubble, but we're going to add it also to our official community swag shop soon. I do believe I have the link somewhere to where it is right now. Scroll back.
Yep.
There we go. Thanks, Laura. I love our community. It's like people ask questions before we have a chance to answer. People help us out. So I really appreciate and love our community.
On the subject of Laura, she did actually have another question. If you're not in the job fair, where might be appropriate places to promote vacancies that not too inappropriately, shall we say?
Well, the job fair is definitely the place to do it in the conference platform. We do try to keep our attendees, feeling comfortable. So if you want to indicate it in your profile, that's fine. We also have a job offers channel on Slack that you can post your job at. So people tend to be more active on Slack during the conference. So if you want to share your job postings there, we also have the job board, jobs.writethedocs.org. And you can also share postings from there. But yeah, in the conference platform, I would suggest to keep it in your profile, or it's never too late to open a job fair table. You can always send us an email.
That's the advantage of being online. There's infinite space.
Exactly. We can set up that table in double quick time.
All right. Which instrument do you prefer, ukulele or guitar or piano?
Oh Lord, I mean, you see, I have this is actually not a ukulele.
Oh, sorry.
This is a U bass.
Oh, okay.
It's a bass, and it's tuned like a regular bass, but it's the size of a ukulele, so it's much easier to travel with. And considering the fact that I'm a jazz and blues musician, the alternatives are much heavier and not as convenient. So I love my little U bass.
Does anyone else have any pressing questions before I just start asking more random questions? We can just everyone could have a second coffee break before we get to the first talk. Anything else?
There are never enough coffee breaks in a conference.
No, I'm an hour behind and need more coffee as well. So,
my question is, how are you two doing this morning?
Mikey.
I'm working on my coffee. This is coffee number 2. I'm doing okay. I'm really happy to be able to run this and to do this year after year, you know, especially being able to sustain the virtual format is just makes me so happy. You know, there's always kind of stress leading up to the time, and, you know, especially now when people are not planning so far in advance, like because you don't have to book travel or anything like that. But, you know, seeing everybody here and following the chat and, you know, chatting on Slack, it just makes me feel really happy. So my mood is good.
Awesome. Chris.
I'm visiting my hometown for the first time in 2 years, which feels weird. So, all right. We have another question/suggestion
from Mark.
Well, there's actually an interesting answer to this question.
It's not really
ever thought about a
cool
counter T-shirt for Read the Docs? And yeah, this might involve a bit of history, Mikey.
So Read the Docs was established by Eric Holscher and Eric Redman and a few Erics. Read the Docs was the prequel to Write the Docs. So Write the Docs was born out of the folks from Read the Docs. So we are very much connected. Eric still works in both. So it's actually a sibling, like an older sibling or an ancestor shirt. Maybe we should make it like with little caveman bones and things like that.
They probably have their own T-shirt, I'm sure. Eric can clarify that when he wakes up later.
Yeah, you can ask him in the social event. So he'll be running the social event. Yeah, we're almost out of time.
We do have another one from Rob. I feel like this has been answered slightly in the intro, but what are the chances of Auto Club or bigger? Because that was actually the plan.
Right.
Next year.
So yeah, I did raise this point in the intro, and this is something that I really want. We're really trying to think about, you know, to be able to prioritize safety. You know, I think at most, you know, we would need to prioritize local attendees. You know, the original plan, Auto Club, we outgrew it originally, and we actually booked another venue that was bigger. And then the pandemic happened, and none of it happened yet. So I'm not sure about the chances right now. We have to see how this winter goes with the world. And, you know, we want to try and err on the side of caution and scale down as much as possible so that we don't put financial pressure on us because we're self-sufficient, and we don't want to put, you know, any kind of social pressure or pressure to attend or put people in a position where they have to choose. You know, hybrid events seem to be a really good idea in general, and the technology exists now to be able to do it. It's just a matter of being able to coordinate safety. You know, it could be that we'll do local meetup watch parties and have some kind of, you know, smaller groups that can get together locally. Like, this is just a thought, you know, so we're still brainstorming about that. So if anybody has any ideas, then please let us know. But yeah, decentralized small groups seems like a safer choice than a lot of people, hundreds of people in an auditorium, even if it's only half full.
On the subject of hundreds of people, I can see already at what the time is it in Europe?
We're
10:40. There's about 240 of you, so head over to the main chat for Lucas Reusner, Hitchhiker's Guide to Documentation Tools and Processes. Please ask questions, because with a title like that, I am going to be thinking of puns aplenty based on the works of Douglas Adams. So please ask questions. Otherwise, you just have to put up with that for 5 minutes. So see you over there, and see you again in about half an hour or so. So take care.